Fracas made us from stone to protect Gurnelgard. Against orcs, ogres, and all the other beasts of Tion. We are the guardians of Gurnelgard. We are the children of the Divine Smith. We are the Dwarves. Dead!
Landerling! A present from the workshop!
I'd be happy to pass on this present to the Greenskins. Last month? My king! What are you doing here?
Giselbert Eye, the father of the Fifthling clan, has not been on the front line of battle against the creatures of Tion for many cycles. The king surveys the battlefield and the defenders with a grave expression.
We are too few.
This you know as well as he does. But there will be no reinforcements arriving. Hundreds of brave warriors lie inside the fortress dying. The illness is running rampant. It brings weakness and death.
Stay at your posts. Be as steadfast as the granite of which we are made. Nothing can break us. Vrakas is with us.
Tazat!
one gone! What?
I'm stated! Yes?
Be off with you. Yes?
And again! I'm stated!
Be off with you. What?
I'm stated! Yes?
Hammer time! Yes?
Yes?
Be off with
Just
you.
a moment! Not possible right now!
Another one gone!
These are the ones who attacked us in the tunnels. We suffered great losses beating them back.
Come here and I'll split you like a straw, you treacherous elf!
In his fury, the old king radiates a ferocious power that none of Citalia's children could withstand. But the slight, willowy being sitting astride the shadow mare just grins down, mockingly.
You are mistaken. We are Alpha. We are here to destroy the elves.
All peace-loving beings here in Girdlegard are under our protection, and you cannot open the gate that has barred your path into Girdlegard since the creation of the world.
Not us, but perhaps one of your kind.
This cannot be. Silence, you fool! Vrakas, forgive me for what I am about to do.
Quickly, in formation! You must hold them back until I close the gate!
What is it?
Look at me. I am Sinthras, the Reaper of your death. I will take your life, and the land will take your soul.
Get out of my sight, pointy ears, and let me delight at the closed gate a little longer.
The gate may have closed, but when you rise again from the dead by the power of the land, you will be one of us, and you will open it.
Never! My soul belongs to Vrakas.
No. Your soul now belongs to the land, and henceforth you will belong to it forever. Now die, and return. Then hand us Girdlegard.
You're a perfectionist, Tungdil Bolafar.
I've got a reputation to uphold. If you can't rely on the metalwork of a dwarf, what can you rely on? What can I do for you?
For me, nothing. It's Lot Yonan. He wants to see you in his study.
In your mind, you go through all the recent incidents that might have annoyed the Magus. Apart from a few little squabbles with his famuli, nothing worth mentioning happened since the incident with your beard. You nod.
Okay. You look dreadful.
What a charmer.
The maid gives you an ironic, reprimanding scowl.
Ikana has been crying half the night.
When you were teething, I carried you around the vaults. You played with my beard and I sang you to sleep.
Frala smiles. She's heard this story many times before.
That was 23 cycles ago. But I'm quite sure you didn't sing. You might have grumbled a bit.
If what you've read about the dwarven lifespan is true, it will be another 300 sun cycles and more before you are called to the Eternal Forge. The certainty of one day having to witness Frala's death already burdens your heart.
I'd better not keep the Magus waiting.
See you later. There's goulash for dinner.
There was a time when you could hardly lift the heavy hammer. Now you barely notice it anymore, and it feels like an extension of your arm. Smithing is in your blood.
Hey, groundling! Come to the kitchen, we need you.
Jolison, a 4th-degree famulus and your favorite foe among the students of magic, gives you a disparaging glance and disappears without waiting for your reply.
Tungdil! Quick! Or the goulash will get burnt!
You immediately recognize what the problem is. A chain running over a pulley for positioning the cauldron is detached from its mounting, and the cauldron stuck in the fireplace. It's a heavy load, and none of the famuli, who feel superior even during kitchen duty, dare do anything. They might burn their fingers, or even get a bit dirty.
It'd be a waste of goulash. And I'm hungry. Here, hold this.
With as much concern in your voice as you can muster, you say,
Oh, no, this doesn't look good.
you're pleased to notice he's dripping with sweat.
I'll get you back for this, groundling! You damned freak!
For a moment, you hope the famulus really does raise his hand to you. But then he comes to his senses and leaves the kitchen, his face bright red.
What a pair you are!
I am your godfather, little one. I'll look after you just like I looked after your mother.
Little Ikana grasps your calloused finger and smiles at you wide-eyed. The beer that is delivered to the vaults is supposed to be the best beer in Idderslane. It's certainly your favorite beer, but you haven't drunk enough other beers to truly know.
Vegetables, bread, cheese, but the cook is not to be trifled with. Many painful knuckles have taught you that she knows how to handle her heavy wooden spoon, and that she may possibly have eyes in the back of her head.
Do you know what Lord Yonan wants?
The maid gives you an amused look. She has often accused you of making things more complicated than necessary.
Hey, what are you doing, groundling? We're still eating here. Why don't you go and get your own portion?
Of the 200 or so people selected to learn the art of magic under Lot Yonan, there's barely a handful of them you can stand the sight of. You're not at all interested in magic in all its elusiveness and whimsy. Your realm is the Forge. Lot Yonan's vaults are equipped with laboratories, a library, and private rooms for the famuli. Together with the forge, the kitchen, and the other utility rooms, it makes up quite an impressive complex. But compared to the courts of the other magi, the seat of power in Yonandar is small and modest. A map of Girdlegard. The kingdoms of the humans are marked, but the map maker's focus was the magic realms of the Magi. Yonandar, Brandokai, Leos Nudin, Oromira, Saborian, and Tuguria. While most of the landscape features are missing, the veins of the magic fields are marked in painstaking precision. 5 veins spread out under Girdlegard, beginning at Leos Nudin in the middle.
I should speak to Lord Yonan first. He doesn't like to be kept waiting.
You mumble and wonder when you started speaking thoughts like this out loud.
Master Lord Yonan, Frala told me you wished to speak with me.
Ah, Tungdil, come in. There is a bag over there in the cupboard. Take it out, please. It contains artifacts belonging to my former famulus Goren. I wish to return them to him. He's in Black Saddle, 300 miles away.
300 miles? That's a long journey. Who are you going to entrust with this?
I was thinking of you.
Me?
There is no one better to take on this journey. You have acquired much knowledge. You are almost a scholar. You know more than most famuli about Girdlegard and its inhabitants. It is time for you to go out into the world and see it with your own eyes.
With pleasure. Perhaps I'll meet some dwarves on my travels.
Yes, perhaps. But don't hold out too much hope. And be careful who you talk to. Not everyone out there likes dwarves.
Yeah, goblins. They abduct baby dwarves and sell them to magi, from what I've heard.
Not the best bit of business I've ever done. But what was I to do? The Longnoses threatened to throw you into the nearest river.
What's in the bag?
Magical devices. You better leave the bag closed if you want to avoid any accidents. Dwarves don't really like magic, and magic doesn't like you either.
Rakus gave us so much craftsmanship that there's no space left in our bodies for magic.
Strictly speaking, every time you've been too close to magic, it has ended in catastrophe.
Be on your guard. Look after the bag and don't lose it. May Palandiel be with you. And Vrakas too, of course.
I'll set off immediately. I'll see you soon, Lord Yonan. Hello, Frala.
Hmm?
I need provisions for 300 miles.
You're grinning from ear to ear. Finally, you've got the chance to see something of the world.
300? Tungdil, that's no errand. That's an epic journey. Wait, I've got just the right thing. But make sure the cook doesn't see.
I'm going to Blacksaddle to return a few things to a former apprentice in the Magus.
You pocket the rye bread, sausages, and ham. Enough food for the first few days of your journey.
Perhaps I'll even meet some dwarves on the way.
Frala throws you a cautious glance. It's a tricky subject that you can't help but broach.
There aren't dwarves down here. You're the only one in Idaslane, as far as we know.
I know, but I can't just have been born out of a rock. Somewhere in the mountains, I have a clan. Maybe even a family.
Yes. Maybe.
Frala has reminded you more than once that Lot Yonan wrote to the dwarf clans, and none of them were missing a dwarf boy.
I've got a present for you.
You take out a symbol of protection that you've carefully made from 3 horseshoe nails.
It's not the finest jewelry in Girdlegard.
One look at Frala's face makes it clear that it doesn't matter. She glows with happiness as she takes the pendant.
For me? But why?
Because you don't see me as an oddity, and you're like a little sister to me.
You could have said. But you settle with a shrug and a crooked smile.
I have to go. I've got a long journey ahead of me.
I wish you the blessing of Palandial and Vracus to protect you from all danger on your journey. Here, a talisman. Whenever you look at it, think of me.
Frala winks at you mischievously.
And of getting me a nice present.
The blacksmith. Do you want something?
Did a horse bolt while you were trying to shoe it? It's certainly not on our plates.
This is where you swung the forge hammer for the first time 30 cycles ago. No one taught you the craft. It was enough for you to watch Lot Yonan's old smith at work. Whenever the workshop was empty, you practiced and quickly mastered the craft with ease.
If I hurry, I might be back in time for Sonia's birthday.
You're longing to see her face when you give her your homemade present.
I wonder if dwarves ask Vracus for help on long journeys.
The figure on the homemade altar doesn't answer.
How nice to see you again, Lot Yonan. It must have been an age since we last met face to face.
Nudin, welcome. Please, sit down.
No, thank you, my friend. These are urgent matters, and I don't have much time. You must come to Leos Nudin immediately. The perished land is stirring.
Are you sure? What makes you think that?
I found out about 60 orbits ago, during a visit to the borders. Our magical barriers have weakened and become porous. The Elfar have left their land, and a huge horde of orcs have marched into Girdlegard.
Were you able to strengthen the spell with your magic?
No. I can't repair the damage alone. We need the combined power of the 6. The other 4 are already on their way here, but we need your help too.
I will set off for Parista without delay.
Oh, and as you're coming, could you also take the opportunity to bring back the things that I lent to you?
Of course. I have them already packed in a bag.
Oh, thank you. We'll be expecting you.
Utterly blinded by the sunlight, you squeeze your eyes tightly shut after only a few steps. The time spent underground has made you so sensitive to light that you're forced to seek shelter in the shade of a mighty oak. You reach a small lake by a birchwood. Your feet hurt and your eyes still sting in the unaccustomed sunlight. But a smile spreads across your face nonetheless. You've covered a decent distance on the first day of your big journey. You pitch your camp and lie down to sleep on the hard forest floor. When you awake in the morning, your legs are stiff and achy. Trying not to feel sorry for yourself, you throw your rucksack over your shoulder. You're a dwarf, and dwarves don't complain. Around midday, with the sun high in the sky and the first beads of sweat appearing on your forehead, you see something move next to the road, a few hundred meters ahead. Some crows are pecking at something in the long grass. When you see the blood on the ground, you try to convince yourself it's from an animal that just happened to be killed on the road by a hunter. You know this is improbable, and your hope disappears completely when you see 2 human bodies lying in the flattened grass. You don't see any signs of a struggle in the area where the corpses are lying. Were they stabbed by a companion? A stranger could hardly have crept up on them with such sparse cover. You look down on a tall, broadly built man. He's wearing dark brown leather armor that is strengthened with iron plates. There's a sword lying next to him. Was he trying to defend himself against something? Or someone? There is no blood on the sword.
By Vracus.
There are some narrow stab wounds in the man's chest. The cuts are too big to have been made by arrows, but too small for sword wounds. A slender man lies in front of you, dressed in an expensive robe. It is in the colors of Turgur the Fair-Faced, one of the 6 magi. The dead man must be one of Turgur's famuli. You don't see any wounds. The man has the same incisions. It's clear that both men were killed by the same weapon. But what that weapon might be, you cannot say. A rucksack that probably belonged to one of the dead. It seems to have been searched and then thrown away carelessly. You find a few implements, some provisions, and a map. A route is drawn on it from Parista, Nudin's capital, to Lot-Yonan's vaults.
Nothing. Nothing again.
You halt. There is something.
Another rucksack?
You open the rucksack and recognize that someone has already rummaged through it. As well as some implements and writing utensils, you find a pouch full of gold and a talisman. The gold is proof that this is not a case of robbery. Warmth and a feeling of security flush through your body as you touch the talisman. You feel safer just holding it in your hand.
I'm taking you with me. It's not a robbery if you're already dead.
You give the corpse an apologetic look. The gold coins join the others in your purse. You scour the area once more and ask yourself what to do next. It's time-consuming and strenuous work digging shallow graves in the ground with a stick and covering the corpses with a few stones. But it should at least keep the crows from their feasting for a while. You continue on your way so as to put a few more miles between you and your grisly find before night falls. You see a flickering light through the trees some way from the path. It might come from a campfire. You walk towards the fire with confident strides until you finally make out 3 broad-shouldered men with axes. 2 rabbits are sizzling over the fire. The men are joking with one another, but you can only understand the odd word. They haven't noticed you yet. Once you reach the edge of the firelight, you say amicably,
"Greetings. My name is..."
The men jump up and grab their axes.
Who's there?
Well, I'll be. Is that a groundling?
The men look you over suspiciously.
My name is Tungdil. May I know with whom I have the pleasure?
A perfect stranger, a groundling speaking like a king. We are woodcutters. Talk our language, or better still, get lost.
I only wanted to be polite.
Sod your politeness and your pretty words, groundling, and be off with you.
The man strengthens his grip on the axe and glares at you with sinister yellow eyes. You shrug your shoulders indifferently and take 3 small steps backwards without taking your eyes off the men.
All right, if I'm not welcome here, then I'll go.
Good! And don't even think about coming back to stab us in the back or steal from us. We'll keep guard. There's nothing here for groundling scum.
Your heart is pounding, and you confront the man a little more courageously than you feel.
I'm no thief, and I'm certainly no murderer. I only wanted to see if...
Pah! All groundlings are thieves and good-for-nothings.
You find it difficult to take control of your voice again.
Have you met many dwarves?
Enough to know that you're all dirty thieves.
The next morning, visions of axes, faces full of hate, fists and heavy boots flicker through your befuddled mind. Your first attempt to move fails when pain shoots through every bone, every muscle, and every nerve in your body. It's a long time before you manage to sit up and tend to your wounds in the early sunlight. There's no trace of the woodcutters. They must have thrown you into the undergrowth near the campfire once they were finished with you.
You reach the banks of the Warder and can see Axeldale on the other side, but there isn't a bridge for far and wide. The fishermen's boats glide over the water, which sparkles in the sun. None of the men seem to notice you while they throw out their nets. You look at the cold, dark water. The current seems so strong that they could carry off even the most experienced of swimmers. And you aren't even a mediocre one. You once read a legend in a book. Elria, the goddess of water, did not like the children of the forge and cursed the dwarves, so that they would drown in any waters beyond their kingdoms. The main reason that dwarves avoid water to this day. You leave the peaceful banks of the river behind you and continue on your way. You look down on a large village on the banks of the Warder. Some of the village is built on stilts in the river. A wooden bridge spans the fast-flowing water. A huge wooden palisade has been erected to protect the village from attack. The guards on the palisade are watching you. Their armor looks well cared for and well made. The smith who made them knew what he was doing. You conclude that the men depend on the protection the armor offers and aren't just wearing them to look good. They're certainly not villagers. Some of the guards begin to whisper as you near the gate.
Hello up there! What brings you to fair good water? And have you seen any orcs on your travels, groundling?
The man leaning over the palisade eyes you up and down carefully.
Goodwater is well known for its hospitality.
A fact that you've just made up yourself.
Let me in, and I will tell other travellers all about it.
I regret to inform you that we cannot allow you to enter. The gates stay closed once night has fallen.
There is certainly no regret showing in the man's face. The orc heads on the spears look fresh, a fact that causes you unease for more than one reason.
Those won't scare orcs away.
I hope not. The more orc heads that end up on those spears, the more gold coins that end up in our pockets. Right, boys? Yeah! That's right! Yeah! We've killed our fair share of orcs and know how to motivate them. Those ugly mugs will spur them on, and then they'll perish in front of our gates.
Two things become clear to you. Firstly, that the mercenaries the villagers have hired are excellent at killing orcs, and secondly, that they sadly have no brains at all.
When did you kill these orcs?
Yesterday. We caught a couple of their scouts first. The others tried to take revenge in the evening. Let's see who'll turn up today.
Do you want me to be mauled by the orcs? Let me in.
You're pleased to notice that your voice sounds more accusatory than worried. The free peoples of Girdlegard have always stood side by side against the beasts of Tion. The mercenary seems to weigh up his options, but then shakes his head.
Put a few miles between yourself and us, and then you should be safe. As safe as you can be these days.
Stay alert. If I see anything, I'll scream.
Oh, yeah. You bet.
The double gate is made of strong planks, sturdy but still much less solid than the fixed parts of the palisade. Security has been forgone here for practical reasons. Never a good idea when building fortifications. You think about waiting by the fire until the morning. At least you wouldn't have to go cold.
You hardly slept a wink during the night, jumping at the slightest sound.
At least I wasn't cold.
An uneasy feeling has been your constant companion since you left Goodwater. Every little sound in the forest makes you fear you've been discovered by a horde of orcs. But you reach the end of the day without bumping into any of the greenskins. It seems as though Vracus has granted you one more day in Girdlegard. As night begins to fall, you pass a large oak tree and decide to call it a day. Near the oak tree is an abandoned camp with a fireplace, which appears to be a couple of days old. You swing yourself up the trunk and then pull up your baggage after you. You're prepared to sleep in a tree like a bird if it means escaping the orcs' attentions. You sling your rope twice around your stomach and the trunk of the tree to stop you from falling accidentally. You close your eyes and dream. You see North Pass and smell the fresh, icy wind that sweeps over the peaks of Great Blade and Dragon's Tongue. But the harmony is interrupted by the hideous roar of an unending flood of orcs throwing itself unceasingly against the fortification. You smell the disgusting green blood of the orcs and taste the rancid fat of their armor on your tongue. The bitter taste becomes stronger until it's unbearable and wrenches you out of your dream. You open your eyes and are surprised at the brightness as a glance at the sky confirms that it's still night. Your eyes move towards the ground, and what you see makes the blood in your veins freeze.
I am Sinthras of Son Balsor. My master, Nod On the Doublefold, ruler of the perished land, has elected you, the lords of Taboribor, to be the sword that conquers the south.
You mean you want us to put our necks on the line and be killed by some magus?
Lord Yonan and the others will be taken care of. Your task is to create a diversion in the south until my master's plan succeeds.
And which of us is the leader?
The one that conquers the most land.
So Kragnar will be the new Grand Lord.
He glares at Ushnots and Bashkug.
The Kragnar Shore tribe will conquer the most land. Never! We will overwhelm the cities of the Red Bloods quicker than you can suck the marrow from a bone.
We shall see.
You can't believe what you're hearing. If the beasts of Tion ride into battle together, catastrophic cycles lie ahead for Girdlegard. The night in the oak tree was the worst of your life. You spent every single moment afraid that you would be found and savaged by the orcs. But as the first rays of sun broke through the treetops, the orcs abandoned their camp and left without discovering you.
Better safe than sorry.
Your eyes scan the deserted camp, and you listen carefully for any noise. But you don't see or hear anything suspicious. Your eyes survey the foul aftermath of the orc's presence. You don't feel any urge to stick your nose too deeply into the mixture of ripped clothes, leftover food, and feces.
This is the place. I knew it was here. Come on then, find that stupid necklace. Hey, Fuskar! In front of you! A grounding! Perfect for a spotted breakfast.
You know that you're no warrior, but you want to face the orcs as a child of the Divine Smith. Perhaps you'll manage to kill at least one of them, so as not to appear so undwarven in Vracus's eyes.
I'll give you something to chew on. Vracus made us of stone.
Oink, oink, little piggies! My Barrowin's beard! How did you manage to lose your weapon? Go and get it, and this time, hold it tight! Hey, that one was mine!
You're just too slow, dear brother.
Too slow? Just wait! Yeah! Yeah! Ha ha! What is it? Yes! Kill! Huh? Bites the dust! They're hitting me pretty hard! And again! And what now? Who's next? Huh? I didn't hit you very hard! Yeah! Yeah! Yes? They're hitting me pretty hard! Huh? Yeah! What is it?
Yes?
Yeah! Pow! Another one bites the dust. Yeah! Too easy! Pow! Another one bites the dust.
Killed, huh?
Yeah! What is it?
I need help over here, quickly!
Oink oink! That's all? No more orcs?
Well fought, young friend. Do you happen to be tongued ill?
Well fought? But he fought like a...
Boindale, what do you expect? He grew up amongst the humans.
Who are you, and how do you know my name?
My name is Boindale Hookhand of the clan of the Swinging Axes. This is my brother, Boindale Doubleblade. We've been sent to find you.
Call me Ironheart. Are there any more piggy snouts around here?
There was a meeting last night. The Elfar serve a certain Nod On who calls himself Lord of the Perish Land. They have enlisted 3 orc hordes to cause unrest in the south.
Did you hear that, Boindale? Piggy snouts!
The Elfar from San Balzur and the orcs from Taboribor are working together?
And could ally with the orcs from the Perish Land.
The twins look at you solemnly. You all know what that would mean for the people of Girdlegard.
We've got to...
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. But it's our duty to get you to the Ogre's Death Fortress in one piece.
I thought the duty of dwarves was to protect the innocent in Girdlegard.
Lot Yonan and King Broron will take care of the orcs. We 3 must be careful. You're not exactly a warrior.
But he has broad shoulders and broad hands. There's hope for him yet. So when you've got the chance to split a few orc skulls, you should take it.
You turned up at just the right moment. But are you sure it's me you're looking for?
The High King Gundrabor sent us to fetch you and bring you to Ogre's Death in the Secondling realm in the south.
So he received the letter from my master? And am I a secondling?
Well, something like that, I guess.
I would be happy to follow you into the realm of the Secondlings. In truth, there is nothing I would rather do. But first, I must travel to Blacksaddle and return some things to a former famulus of Lot-Yonan.
Blacksaddle isn't exactly on our way.
It's on my way. We can head south as soon as I've carried out Lot-Yonan's orders.
Well, he's certainly got the stubbornness of a dwarf. Perhaps we'll be able to make a real dwarf of him on the way.
All right, we'll accompany you. The sooner we find that famulus, the quicker we can get back to the mountains.
I'll have to send Lot-Yonan a message by carrier pigeon on the way. And if we happen to stumble upon a couple of orcs...
I like you, but we'll have to find you another name. Bolafar. It's about as good as Lipsmith, Paddletosh, or Blufflegrump. It is stupid, senseless, and definitely not a name of honor. What are you good at?
I'm good at reading.
Reading? You're a scholar?